Recording in progress.
Good afternoon. Sorry, good evening. I know. It is 6:01 on Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. And I'd like to call our regular session council meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can you take the roll, please?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh. Little,
Yes.
Livingston. Teresia.
Here.
Weaver,
Here.
Barron,
Here.
Aline,
Here.
Mackey,
Here.
English,
Present.
Newton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Madam Chair, just want to let everybody know that the yeses are here too.
Thank you so much, Councilor. Next is item 2, our invocation. This evening, I recognize the Honorable Derek Pugh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Honorable Cheryl English will deliver the invocation for us tonight.
Thank you, Councilman. Let us pray. Father, it's in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that we come to you now, Lord, thanking you for who you are, your splendor, your glory, your deity, your majesty, your power. God, recognizing that we are nothing without you, that you are creator and giver of every good and perfect gift. So now, Lord, as we enter into this meeting, we ask for wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and discernment. God, the revelatory knowledge that we need to make the decisions. We thank you for this staff. We thank you for this council, God, and we just ask you to cover the citizens of Richland County. Make us stronger. Allow us to grow stronger and greater in you. Father, it's our desire to be more Christ-like, to love one another more, to give more, to service to our fellow man. God, we just love you and we praise you. We thank you for your direction. These and all blessings we ask and thanks we give in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, ma'am. If you can, will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Next is item 4, presentation of resolutions. And we have item 4B.
Madam Chair,
You,
sorry.
It's okay, thank you. We have item 4B this evening, a proclamation recognizing Alfreda W. Tyndall's 45 years of service to Richland County that I'd like to defer to our next regular session meeting. Councilwoman Teresia, you're recognized.
Thank you. There's been just a little delay in Ms. Fergus' arrival today. Could we move that resolution until after the administrator's report?
Sure. So you want to move that to after item 10?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if, I'd like to make a motion to move 4A to after item 10 and move 4B to deferral until our next regular session council meeting.
So moved, Madam Chair.
So I made a motion, Vice Chair Pugh seconded. Thank you, Councilwoman English. It's okay. Madam Clerk, can you take the roll, please? Thank you.
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio, Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English, Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is item 5, approval of minutes. 5A, special call meeting, February 11th, 2025.
Madam Chair,
You're recognized, Councilwoman Newton.
move to approve items 5A and 5B.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes?
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Also, and I forgot to mention this during roll call, Councilwoman Little is joining us virtually this evening for the meeting. And per our council rules, she did notify me in time that she would be attending virtually. Next is item 6, adoption of the agenda. Administrator Brown, do you have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I've received no requested changes, Madam Chair.
Attorney Wright?
No changes. There is, in one of the committee meetings, the Transportation Ad Hoc, there's gonna be some items coming up for condemnations. We do have outside counsel for that item. It's not on executive session, currently on the agenda. So I'm not sure if you want to move that so we can get the outside counsel, if necessary, in the first executive session.
Yes, thank you, Attorney Wright. I would recommend that all executive session items that have outside counsel do occur during our first executive session period, just so that we can be mindful of resources.
Madam Chair,
You recognize?
it is listed, the report from the Evaluation Ad Hoc Committee has items that are listed as executive item actions to report out, but they're not included on the executive session here. Do we need to amend the agenda to reflect that or leave that as is?
I think that can be as is, because that's a part of the committee report, and there's no outside counsel, so you still go in executive session, but it'll be at that time.
Thank you.
Attorney Wright, can you specify the item number in the agenda?
Yes, item 19, 19C. That's the item, condemnation referrals, that does have outside counsel for executive session. And D as well is also condemnation, 19C and D.
And Mr. Livingston's question was regarding 17A.
17A. Yes. With that, if that's gonna have the outside counsel speak to that, then yes, that as well.
Thank you. Any further changes to the agenda?
No more changes.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
You recognized?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agenda as adjusted.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item 7, Attorney Wright, you recognized.
Yes, we have 7A, discussion and legal advice concerning duties of the county administrator regarding Richland County Code Section 2-78 and Section 2-80 pursuant to Code 30-4-70A1. 7B, discussions of SE Code Section 4-9-195 and Section 5-21-190 pursuant to 30-4-70A2. C, detention center update pursuant to 30-4-70A2. Property inquiry, capital projects, Columbia Place Mall, pursuant to 30-4-70A2. And E, project connect property, pursuant to 30-4-70A2 and 5. 17A, public-private partnership appointments, pursuant to 30-4-70A1, 2, and 5. And 19C and D, condemnation referrals and economic development community road condemnation referrals pursuant to 30-4-70A2.
Thank you. You've, sir, go right ahead.
And the outside council matters are the 17, 19, as well as 7B and 7E.
All right, you've heard the report from the attorney related to executive session items. Per council rules, we would take up the executive session items that require outside counsel first. I'll entertain a motion to go in executive sessions to discuss only the items that require outside counsel.
Madam Chair,
Recognized.
I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session.
A motion and a second for discussion. I just want to reiterate, we're only going to executive session to discuss the items that require outside counsel only. Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
We're now in executive session. I entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second. Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little, Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron, Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. We went into executive session to discuss items that required outside counsel, and let the record state there was no action taken in executive session. Next is item 8, citizens' input. Item 8A, for items on the agenda not requiring a public hearing. Vice Chair Pugh, did any individual sign up to speak this evening?
Madam Chair, no one signed up to speak for that item.
Thank you. Next is item 9, citizens' input must pertain to Richland County matters not on the agenda. Items for which a public hearing is required or a public hearing has been scheduled cannot be addressed at this time. Vice Chair Pugh, anyone signed up to speak this evening?
Madam Chair, we have 2 people signed up to speak. As I call your name, please approach the podium, state your name and your address for the record, and you have 2 minutes to speak. The first person that signed up to speak, I'm going to say your last name because that's the only thing that I can make out, and I don't want to butcher your name. Clinton. Ms. Clinton, if you can come to the podium, state your name and your address for the record, and you have 2 minutes to speak, ma'am.
Yes, sir. First, I want to thank you for your service to the county, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm Greta Clinton. I work at Columbia International University, 7435 Monticello Road. I'm the Executive Director of Communications and Advancement. With me tonight is James McCall, our Associate Dean and champion of RamServe. And I just wanted to come tonight to share with you some good things that are happening at Columbia International University. We started a nursing program 4 years ago, and we had our first class of nurses graduate, and they had a 100% pass rate on the NCLEX, and we're one of only 4 colleges in the state that had that. We also started a new science program, and we've had a graduate get into dental school and another one get into PT. We're very excited. We are just starting to graduate folks, and we have received an NIH grant for cancer research. We have hired Dr. Kim, who was formerly with Liberty University, and he came down to us with the NIH grant, and we were approved to carry out that research. So we're very excited about those, and I wanted to cordially invite all of you, and I've given that information to Ms. Curillo, to our CIU's Leadership Summit with John Gordon, who's a best-selling author, and that's this Thursday at 10:30 to noon, and you're all invited as our guests. With your own guests. So thank you. And I also wanted to see if James could share a little bit about RamServe.
Yes. So thank y'all, Council, for the years of support. This will be our 5th year actually having RamServe, and y'all have partnered with us every year. It'll take place, RamServe this year will take place on April 1st, and we're very excited that y'all are going to join us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Judith Myers. Ms. Myers, if you approach the podium, state your name and your address for the record, and you have 2 minutes to speak, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Judith Myers. I'm a resident of Spring Valley West in the 29223 area code, so welcome. I am a local pastor, and I serve as the co-president for More Justice. By day, though, I am a social worker at Columbia College.
Can you give us your address, please?
I'm sorry, 3 Pembury Court.
Thank you.
29223. Apologies. Yes, so by day, I am a social worker at Columbia College in the 29203 area, and this school has sat on North Main Street for over 120 years. And I have the privilege and honor of working with all of our students, whether they're traditional students, commuters, or even online. I sit with them as they experience food insecurity and housing insecurity, or even a major financial crisis. Tonight, I stand before you to advocate for my students who are experiencing housing insecurity. This issue is not only impacting the well-being and academic success of our students, but also the overall vitality of our community. Columbia College was recently named a Title III school, which means that it accepts and welcomes students who receive the Pell Grant. College students, particularly those from low-income backgrounds or our first-generation students, and those from marginalized communities are facing unprecedented challenges in securing stable and affordable housing. Rising rental costs, limited on-campus housing availability, and the increasing cost of living are contributing to this housing crisis. And my students who are impacted by housing insecurity are at a higher rate of failing and having to leave campus. And they often experience increased stress and anxiety and difficulty concentrating, and all of this leads to lower grades and, unfortunately, a higher dropout rate. This also affects their health and their mental well-being, and this affects our own community. We know and appreciate that students are an integral part of our city's economy and social fabric. And housing insecurity undermines their ability to really be able to contribute to our community. So,
Thank you, ma'am. That's your time.
yeah. Thank you for the $4 million. Excited to see what it goes and how it is
Thank you,
used.
ma'am. Madam Chair, that concludes everyone that signed up to speak for this item.
Thank you. Next is item 10, report of the county administrator. Administrator Brown, you recognize?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of council. I don't have any report under item A1. Under item A2 in your packet, beginning on page 24, I'm going to ask Director Synethia Williams to give you a comprehensive plan update. And as she comes to the podium, you do have a packet of information for additional details related to some of the efforts of the Community Planning and Development Department.
Recognize Director Williams.
Thank you. Good evening. Just wanted to give you an update on where we are with the comprehensive plan. We have just wrapped up phase 1 of the comprehensive plan update, which is the discovery phase. But even though we're saying that, we still want public input. So if someone has not filled out the survey or put an idea on the idea board, there is still time. Continue to do that. We want to continue to get that feedback from citizens. But so far, we just wanted to give you an update on what we've been hearing as we've gone out and we've done these public meetings. We've had the public forums, we've had small group presentations and one-on-one feedback with residents. And in your packet, you have a more detailed presentation of what that initial input looks like. But just to kind of touch the highlights, we had over 500 people respond to our survey, which is still pretty good, even though we have a very large population. 71% of those respondents are full-time residents of the county, and over half have lived in the county for over 20 plus years, and most of them also work in the Columbia area. They love the location of Richland County, our quality of life, and our proximity to downtown activities. But they do want to see more parks, retail, single-family homes, and to see the county encourage housing, mixed use, small retail, and workforce development and employment opportunities. The common concerns, which we hear a lot, are concerns with traffic, environmental protection, and the affordability of housing. So we think those will be some initiatives and things we'll see coming out as we continue to talk about the comprehensive plan. And some common themes that we got from the one-on-one discussions and public input meetings is a need for residents wanting to see sustainable and equitable development, economic vitality and investment into workforce development and small businesses, environmental and cultural stewardship, accessibility and connectivity regarding our transit and transportation modes, and also collaborative growth management. They want to see the county working with our other local government partners and other partners in the county as we develop our plans, and they want to hear about how we're working together. One thing I heard specifically is that they hear a lot about what some other municipality may be doing, but they don't always hear from Richland County. They would love to hear from us a lot more. So as we go into phase 2, what'll be happening next is that we're going to be taking our current land use scenarios, putting that information together so that we can present to Planning Commission and County Council some potential future land use scenarios. It's easy to say, I don't want to see this in our area, so we want to show residents and council members what retail or what commercial may look like in your area. So when you visualize it, you can give us a better feedback of yes or no, or we want it to look a certain way. So we'll be scheduling a workshop with council in the summer, but we'd like to make the offer to sit down and talk to you all one-on-one if you'd like to hear more information about what those land use scenarios look like, how we'll be collecting that information, how input from the advisory committee and other public input would be involved in bringing that information to you, so you don't feel blindsided in the summer when we present it to you. So we want to kind of sit down and talk with you and explain all of that information to you. The next advisory committee meeting is scheduled for March 24th. They'll be meeting in person here, and they'll also be going over the existing conditions assessment, which we just received a rough draft of it. So we'll be refining that and presenting that to the advisory committee and talking about what our existing conditions look like as we go into developing those future land use scenarios. And the next public forum where we're presenting these land use scenarios is scheduled for May 1st. And we're also scheduling meetings around the county after that public forum. Don't have all the dates because we're finalizing the locations, but after that May 1st public forum, we'll be having some type of public meeting around the county almost every week in May to also present that information as well. So just wanted to let you know where we were, but if you have any questions about the information in the packet, feel free to reach out to the CP&D staff.
Thank you, Director Williams. Administrator Brown?
That completes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Next. Yes, ma'am. Did you have a question?
I would like to have a point of personal privilege at this moment, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Administrator Brown, I want to take the opportunity to thank you and specific to the communications team, as well as our ombudsman, Judy Carter, for helping have a successful third annual Go Red Luncheon. The team really came together and put the event on, noting that things were a little bit different in the communications team, but I will say that it was very seamless, and we couldn't have had a more successful event. So I want to take this opportunity to specifically thank the staff for going the extra mile, because it is quite an undertaking to create something almost from the ground up and moving forward in less than 6 weeks, noting that I will say, shout out to all the men. They were driving the ship and planning this event, and they did an excellent job. And I think that goes to say that we have some great people that work here at Richland County, and I did not want the night to go by without giving them their due. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Barron. Next is our resolution from earlier this evening, item 4A, a resolution recognizing the life and contributions of Comet Vice Chair John V. Fergus Sr. I'll entertain a motion.
So move, Madam Chair.
Second.
A motion and a second for this resolution. Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton. Motion approved.
Thank you. Councilwoman Teratio, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a resolution recognizing the life and contributions of Comet Vice Chair John V. Fergus Sr. Whereas Mr. John Victor Fergus Sr. was born in Columbia, South Carolina on April 15th, 1942, as the 15th child of Mr. Curtis and Mrs. Josephine Neal Fergus. He was raised alongside 9 sisters and 5 brothers, and he attended Waverly and Carver elementary schools. Mr. Fergus proudly graduated from C.A. Johnson High School, and whereas Mr. Fergus's family lived in the Waverly community near the Allen University campus, where he graduated with a degree in business administration. Throughout his life, he maintained a close relationship with Allen University's president, Dr. Ernest McNeely, and held the title of Allen University Alumni Ambassador. His time there helped him forge lifelong friendships and gain invaluable mentorship. And whereas Mr. Fergus was deeply committed to enhancing the quality of life in Columbia, he supported his beloved Allen University and helped raise funds through his community's annual Easter brunch. And whereas Mr. Fergus honorably retired as postmaster from the United States Postal Service, where he was highly dedicated to his role, recognized for his efficiency, and respected as an excellent supervisor. Whereas Mr. Fergus was an active member of his community and played a crucial role and the successful efforts to establish a public library in Edgewood. He also worked tirelessly to improve public transportation in Columbia by serving on the Comet Board of Directors, where he held various roles, including Service Committee Chair and Vice Chair. And whereas Mr. Fergus passed away on January 17th, 2025, leaving behind a lasting legacy of service, dedication, and love for his community. He is survived by his wife, Alexina Irving Fergus, and his son, John Fergus Jr., daughter, Kimberly Chanel Fergus, daughter-in-law, Tracy Smith Fergus, granddaughters, Garland, John Victoria, and LaQuionda, grandson, David Smith, two sisters, Hattie Fergus Outlaw and Norma Fergus Myers, and a host of other loving relatives and friends, all of whom will dearly miss him. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Richland County Council members Jason Branham, Derek Pugh, Tyra K. Little, Paul Livingston, Allison Terratio, Don Weaver, Gretchen Barron, Tish Dozier, Aileen, Tish Dozier Aileen, Jessica Mackey, Shaquise Newton, and Cheryl English recognizes Mr. John V. Fergus Sr. for his outstanding contributions to Richland County Public Transit and commends his unwavering commitment to serving our community. We extend our deepest gratitude for his years of service and mourn his passing with the community he loved and served.
Thank you, Councilwoman Terratio. I do have a few council members that would like to say a few words. Vice Chair Pugh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to say I remember the last time seeing Mr. Fergus. I saw Mr. Fergus while I was running out, and his wife while I was running out getting last-minute Christmas gifts. And I ran around the corner, and she was standing there, and she was like, "Hey, Councilman Pugh." I did not recognize them, but they recognized me, and I was super dressed down. I want to say this. I never had the opportunity to publicly thank Mr. Fergus for everything that he did for me in 2020 when I ran for office. And, ma'am, I really, really appreciate your family for always supporting me. Thank you.
Councilwoman Newton.
Thank you. It was amazing just what a passionate supporter he was of the Comet. We had, well, not just the Comet, the whole community, but he called me many times to talk about the Comet, and he just cared so much about people in the community. And one of the great things about living in Lower Richland is every time you talk to somebody, you find a cousin. So the first time he called me, he was like, "These are all the things about the Comet. And by the way, we're cousins." And he started outlining all these relatives. And I was like, "If you say so." And he was like, "And then so-and-so is also your cousin. So you need to call them." And so then after that, I started getting phone calls about the Comet. "Hey, cousin, it's me. And now let's talk about what's happening." But he was just so passionate. And I just wanted to appreciate that service. So thank you.
Councilman Livingston.
I've known Mr. Fergus for a long time, and what stands out to me is he was someone who, I mean, didn't matter what the issue was, Mr. Fergus would take a stand. He didn't care what your position was. He'll let me know what his position is with no problem. And at first, I couldn't figure that out, but all of a sudden later on, I learned to appreciate that because he always told me what I needed to do, and he was right. And, he, for his community, he and his wife, I don't know anybody who probably spent more time and commitment to our community than that particular family. When you think about things, most of the things happening in their community, I mean, the library there, I could remember with Ms. Fergus and John would say to me, we got to have some of these things in our community too. I mean, they got behind that effort, and you ended up with a library in that community, primarily because of their commitment to doing it. So he's going to be missed, but most important, though, he's going to be remembered.
Thank you, Mr. Livingston. Ms. Fergus, if you would join us at the seal. And I know we also have a few members and representatives from the Comet as well that I think wanted to celebrate in this recognition.
We got some more time.
I can see Mr. Weaver, yeah. Yeah, that should be good right there. Yeah, that's fine. One more like that. That's good.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank you for acknowledging just a small part of my husband's contributions to the city, to the county, and to the state. I really, really appreciate the words, especially, and that's because he did so much more. And finally, he's appreciated, even if he's not here to know and to hear. But thank you, and thank you, Allison, so much. And thank you, County Council. We appreciate you, and we appreciate everything you do, and thank you again.
Next is item 11, report of the Clerk of Council.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to,
I'm sorry, ma'am, they were talking to me. Please carry on.
thank you, Madam
Apology.
Chair.
Yes.
Thank you. Just want to let the public know that there will be a town hall meeting for District 11 on March the 13th from 6 to 7:30, and it will take place at the Lower Richland substation. That concludes my report.
So much, Madam Clerk. Next is item 12, report of the chair. And I do want to take a moment this evening. It is March 4th, and March is Women's History Month. And I want to highlight a few of the women here in Richland County. Currently, our Richland County Council has 7 elected women that serve, and that is the largest number in our county council in the state of South Carolina, which is history within itself. Also want to make sure we acknowledge several firsts for women that are elected in Richland County as well. We have our Clerk of Court, Ms. Jeanette McBride, our Coroner, Nada Rutherford, Probate Judge Amy McCullough, and Treasurer Kendra Dove. They are all women leading here in Richland County, and many are first in that role. And so take a moment to recognize all the women in their hard work within Richland County.
Madam
Next,
Chair,
yes, ma'am, you're recognized.
and just a personal privilege.
Sure.
Just want to thank this amazing staff for always being there to support everything that we do. I've had 2 town halls and zoning hearings, and you guys were phenomenal. You showed out, you did everything with excellency, and I just appreciate it. And I just wanted to say thank you again.
Next is item 13, open and closed public hearings. Item 13A, an ordinance amending the Tourism Development and Accommodations Tax Funds in the fiscal year 2025 budget ordinance number 018-24HR of Richland County, South Carolina. Vice Chair Pugh, this public hearing is now open. Do we have anyone that signed up to speak this evening?
Madam Chair, no one signed up to speak for that item.
This public hearing is now closed. Next is 13B, an ordinance authorizing deed to the City of Columbia for water lines located at Columbia Mall, Richland County TMS number 17001-04-02. This public hearing is now open. Vice Chair Pugh, do we have anyone that signed up this evening?
Madam Chair, no one signed up to speak for this item.
This public hearing is now closed. Next is item 14, approval of consent items.
Madam Chair,
You recognize Councilwoman Newton.
move to approve items 14A through Q.
Second.
Madam Chair.
You have a motion and a second for items 14A through Q. Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
You recognize Councilwoman Barron.
Thank you. I'd like to remove item D from that list, please. A friendly, if I can amend.
I'll accept that amendment.
Any further discussion? So the motion is 14A through Q minus D. Madam Clerk.
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Madam Chair.
You recognize Councilwoman Barron.
Thank you. I'd like to move to approve item 14D.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for 14D. Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
You recognize?
I just wanted to go on the record to state that as I mentioned in the zoning public hearing last week, that I chose to remove that item because it is all contingent upon having some further discussion with the neighbors, and we've not had that opportunity yet. So I look forward to having that discussion with the applicant and the neighbors in the weeks to come.
All right, you've heard the motion and the second for approval for 14D. Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Any of these items need reconsidered? Administrator Brown?
Yes, Madam Chair. N, O, P, and Q.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second for reconsideration of N, O, P, and Q. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
No.
Pugh,
No.
Little,
No.
Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Aline,
No.
Mackey,
No?
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you.
Aaron. No.
Barron,
Thank you. Next is item 15, third reading items. 15A, an ordinance amending the Tourism Development and Accommodation Tax Funds in the fiscal year 2025 budget ordinance, number 018-24HR of Richland County, South Carolina.
Madam Chair,
You recognize Vice Chair
I'd
Pugh.
like to make a motion for approval.
Second.
The motion is second for approval. Any discussion?
Madam Chair,
You recognize Councilman Branham.
thank you. I heard from some constituents over the week about this matter, so I just wanted to raise a few points that factored in on my thought process. Number one, we already voted on a motion along these lines, and now we're at this point where we're voting to amend the budget in accordance with the previous vote that was already taken. That's how I recall the procedural history here. And this is an amendment of the current fiscal budget. It's just for fiscal year 2025. So this is not an allocation that's going to be in place indefinitely. It's something that will be reviewed on an annual basis as a part of the regular annual budgeting process. This type of funding that comes to us through these accommodation taxes is authorized to be collected through state law. And that same state law sets forth around 7, if I'm remembering right, specific categories on which this money can be expended. And so the motion here is that more or less 1/7 of the money that is collected be expended towards these opportunities for affordable housing assistance, specifically to our public servants, first responders, employees of our schools, and for my people out in Northwest Richland County, that would include Lexington Richland School District 5 as well. And the total allocation that we're looking at here is around $300,000. There's money that's sitting there. Not all of it has been expended. Not all of it had been allocated for anything specifically. So in lieu of just having that money sitting there, this is a motion to have the money expended in a way that is authorized by the state law. And as to the specifics, my understanding from speaking with the movement, if I'm remembering right, as the chair in this case, the additional parameters about how the money will be outlaid will be voted on at a later date. So there would be more specifics to follow. And if the chair has any corrections on anything I just stated, but that's to explain why I'll be voting yes tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Branham. Yes, as the maker of the motion, you are correct in that this was a motion that council did approve, and this next step is to amend the budget for those funds. Last year, the General Assembly here in the state of South Carolina did allow up to 15% of accommodations to be used for affordable housing measures. Affordable housing is an issue within South Carolina and Richland County. And as elected officials, I believe that we should help to find ways to make sure that affordable housing options are available for our constituents. The state felt that way as well and gave this as an option to use accommodations funds for that. And so I think as a body, it is a good idea for us to take advantage of that opportunity, especially for our county employees, public safety officials, and those that are working in our school districts. So thank you for giving those details to help address. I think many of us did receive emails and concerns regarding this evening. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is item 16, second reading items, an ordinance authorizing deed to the City of Columbia for water lines located at Columbia Mall, Richland County TMS number 17001-04-02.
Madam Chair,
You recognized?
I'd like to make a motion for approval.
Second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is item 17, report of the Economic Development Committee. Councilman Livingston, you're recognized.
Madam Chair, regarding the public-private partnership appointments, which includes the proposed board members, the proposed initial board terms, as well as the proposed private sector co-chair, the committee's recommendation was for approval.
You've heard the committee's recommendation. It does not require a second. Councilman Branham, you recognize.
We open for discussion.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't say that. It did not require a second. Yes, discussion.
Thank you. Thank you. We've had some good conversations about process and selecting board members. And it's my understanding that the names of those who are proposed to be appointed will not be made public tonight, and they won't be made public before, obviously, this vote, which is scheduled to happen tonight. So I'm going to be voting no, and it has nothing to do with any of the qualifications of any of the people who have been proposed to be appointed, but I would prefer to see those names made public in the same way that others who are proposed to be appointed to different boards and commissions of the county are also made public, which is, also set forth or illustrated in the very next agenda item here on tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Councilwoman English, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to take a moment just to thank this committee for all the work that they've done on this. This has been an undertaking for a while, and it's good to see it come to this. So thank you all for the work that you've done.
All right, Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
No.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Madam Chair, move reconsideration.
Second.
A motion and second for reconsideration. Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
No.
Little,
No.
Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Aline,
No.
Mackey,
No.
English, Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
That completes the report of economic.
Thank you. Next is item 18, Report of Rules and Appointments Committee. Councilwoman Barron, you're recognized.
Thank you. The the Rules and Appointment Committee. That's what we are tonight.
Come on, we almost there.
We almost there. Woo! We have several appointments that we'd like to make tonight. And for the sake of time, I'm going to give them all to you all at one time. And the first one is for the Airport Commission. We had one vacancy. The committee is recommending Roy Harrell for the Board Assessment Appeals. We had two vacancies. We are recommending Cynthia Blair, and we'll re-advertise for the other vacancy. We're recommending for the Building Codes Board of Appeals. We had 7 vacancies. We're recommending Brittany Watts, and we'll be re-advertising the additional 6 spaces. For the Midlands Regional Convention Center Authority, we had 2 vacancies. We're recommending Kim Crafton and Amber Martin, who is the incumbent. And then for the River Alliance, we had 1 vacancy, and we are recommending Angel Lee. That is our recommendation of the individuals to be appointed to the previously mentioned boards or commissions.
You at the beginning, you said you wanted to go one by one? What did you say?
I said I was gonna take them all.
All at once, okay.
All at
You've heard the recommendation of the committee. It does not require a second. Any discussion?
Just a quick question.
You recognize Ms. Newton.
Thank you. For 3, the Building Code of Board and Appeals, which category does Ms. Watts represent?
I do not, I apologize.
I'll take it offline.
Contractor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carrillo.
Any further discussion?
Question.
You recognize Ms. Livingston.
Who did you say there were 3 listed? Which 2 you mentioned for the Convention Center Authority?
We had 2 vacancies, and that was Kim Crafton and Amber Martin.
Further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes?
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. So, and before I go into the list of notification of vacancies, I just want to continue to say on the record, we continue to get a stellar group of individuals who are applying for these vacancies. I think part of it is because of the involvement that we have from council and staff members and our communications team in getting the information out. Please continue to have individuals to apply. Those individuals who may be listening tonight, if you've applied in the past and you want to be reconsidered, please notify our clerk's office. We keep your application on file for a year. I think that we're well on our way and really stocking our boards and commission with some stellar individuals. With that, there's a motion that we'd like to bring a recommendation for notification of vacancies for the following boards and committees, and that's accommodations tax. We have 6 vacancies, Board of Assessment Appeals Board, 1 vacancy, Building Code Board of Appeals, 6 vacancies, Business Service Center Appeals Board, 2 vacancies, Employee Grievance Committee, 3 vacancies, Hospitality Tax Committee, 5 vacancies, Midlands Workforce Development Board, 1 vacancy, Procurement Review Panel, 5 vacancies. These will go before, they're coming before you tonight for approval to notify, and we will advertise up until April the 4th, 5 p.m. Anyone interested in applying will do so online. That's our recommendation.
Per the committee's recommendation, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Next is item 19, report of the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee.
Madam Chair.
You recognize. Ms. Livingston, sorry.
Item 19A, Transportation Advisory Committee recommendation regarding the remaining 2012 projects. Committee's recommendation was for approval. You'll see on page 219 in your packet the item.
You've heard the committee's recommendation for approval. Any discussion?
Madam Chair,
You recognize, Councilman Brown.
are we on the 19C as part of the discussion?
We're at 19A
19A.
right now,
Oh,
sir.
okay. Sorry, I'll wait.
Any discussion related to 19A? The committee's recommendation is approval. Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron, Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Federal package, 0 contingency increase. The committee's recommendation is for approval. It's on page 227, regarding the approval for increase in contingency amounts.
Heard the committee's recommendation. It does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Remove for reconsideration for that item.
Second.
Motion is second for reconsideration. Madam Clerk?
Brenham, Pugh,
No.
Little,
No.
Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Aline,
No.
Mackey,
No.
English, Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Madam Chair, items 19C and D, if there's no objection, I'd like to move for approval for those combined. They're both related. The committee's recommendation was for approval. Those are the items we just covered in executive session.
You've heard the committee's recommendation for 19C and D. Recommendation is approval. Any discussion? Councilman Brown, you good?
I'm good, thank
Okay,
you.
just making sure. Ms. Carrillo?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Madam Chair, I move for reconsideration of items 19C and D.
Second.
Motion is second for reconsideration of C and D. Madam Clerk?
Branham,
No.
Pugh,
No.
Little,
No.
Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Aline,
No.
Mackey,
No.
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Madam Chair, that completes the report of the Transportation Ad hoc Committee.
Thank you. Next is item 20, report of the Employee Evaluation and Oversight Ad hoc Committee. Both those items will be discussed in our second executive session this evening. It's good, Ms. Newton? All right. Next is item 21, other items. I'll entertain a motion for 21A.
Madam Chair,
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Barron.
I'd like to move to approve items 21A through D.
Second.
Motion is second for 21A through D. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Move to reconsider.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second for reconsideration of 21A through D. Madam Clerk?
Branham,
No.
Pugh,
No.
Little,
No.
Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Aline,
No.
Mackey,
No.
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
We are now at item 22, which is our executive session, our second executive session for this evening for items on our agenda that did not require outside counsel. So Attorney Wright, I believe that is 7A, C, D, and then 20A and B. Did I leave anything off?
That's correct.
All right,
And I will say, just for the record,
please.
that 7A is pursuant to SC Code 30-4-70A1, C and D pursuant to 30-4-70A2, 20A and B are pursuant to 30-4-70A1, both A and B are.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Motion is second to go into executive session to discuss items as mentioned by Attorney Wright. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
We're now in executive session. Entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So-
Madam Chair?
Second.
A motion is second to come out of executive session. Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little, Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Who's let the record show that we went into executive session to discuss the following items that did not require outside counsel: 7A, C, D, and 20A and B. No action was taken during executive session.
Madam Chair?
You recognize Councilwoman Teratio.
For item 7D, I move to authorize the county administrator to proceed with the facade as discussed, or the facade 1B, as discussed in executive session.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little, Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Does that need reconsideration, Administrator Brown?
Yes, please.
Move to reconsider?
Second.
Motion is second for reconsideration on item 7D. Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
No.
Pugh,
No.
Little, Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Aline,
No.
Mackey,
No?
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you. We're now at item 20, Report of the Employee Evaluation and Oversight Ad Hoc Committee. Councilwoman Newton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As it relates to items 20A and 20B, there were motions from the committee. The motion from the committee on item 20A was to move forward with an RFP process and accepting council feedback.
You've heard the committee's recommendation. It does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little, Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. As relates to item 20B, the committee's recommendation was to move forward with a goal-setting evaluation as discussed in executive session.
Heard the committee's report or motion for approval. Not require a second. Discussion?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little, Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
That ends my report.
Items need
Ooh, let's do that.
Move to reconsider?
Which items are we reconsidering?
20A and B.
A motion, is there a second?
Second.
A motion is second for reconsiderations of 20A and B. Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
No.
Pugh,
Nope.
Little, Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Aline,
No.
Mackey,
No.
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Next is item 23, motion period. I did not receive any motions for the meeting tonight. Next is 24.
Adjourn.
Second.
A motion is second for adjournment. Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little, Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.